Republicans who say you are only doing this SPR release to help Democrats in the midterms?
Where have they been the last 4 months? That's my response.
Is it politically motivated, sir? This
No,
move
it's not.
3 weeks before the midterms?
Look, it makes sense. I've been doing this for how long now?
Long time.
I give those journalists credit because they're actually asking the questions that people want to know. So that's good.
Questions that anybody would ask
Right.
if it was a fair and honest media and a fair and honest press room there. But I think, where have we been the past 4 months, Mr. President? We've been struggling. All right, we've been struggling paying $5 a gallon 4 months ago. I've got it right here. June the 13th is when we first hit, that's 4 months almost to the day ago. That's when we first hit $5.01 a gallon. That's an all-time record. So we've been dealing with it for months and months now, and people are just looking for some relief. For more on all this, let's welcome back in our friends, Project 21 National Advisory Board member Christopher Arps is with us, and former Principal Deputy Press Secretary at the White House, Hogan Gidley. Hogan, to you first. Do the American people buy it?
No, they do not. By polling, it shows that. And also, they don't buy it because they feel it. They know that Joe Biden came into office and bragged about doing everything different than Donald Trump. It was going to be completely the opposite. The adults are in charge. How are you liking that adult behavior, by the way? And all of a sudden, we see a spike in the cost of living. Inflation goes way up. You're paying more for groceries and for gas. He bragged about shutting down Keystone, refusing to allow drilling permits and all these types of things. The oil companies see that. They kind of play off of whatever the administration is going to do. We went from energy independence, energy dominance, to relying on other nations for oil. And here's the dirty secret. We're getting the energy from somewhere because we need to power this country. The question then becomes, do we make it here at home cleaner and cheaper, or do we go beg dictators and despots all over the globe, like in Venezuela, like in China, like in Russia, to try and get our energy from there? Joe Biden's decided to do that. He doesn't want to make it here because he's beholden to the green radical left ideology. And the problem is the American people are the ones left suffering, and we don't buy it.
Yeah, we talked to Seth Denson the last hour, and this whole, strategic reserve, it's not going to really affect it. We're not going to see lower prices, maybe a cent or two. But Chris, throughout the last couple of months, President Biden said, I've lowered gas prices. Look at what we have done. But now that they're going up, he really doesn't want to take responsibility for that. Take a listen to what Karine Jean-Pierre said about oil companies and asking them to lower their prices.
So you're asking oil companies to further lower gas prices. What makes you think that they are going to listen to an administration that is ultimately trying to put them out of business?
How is the administration trying to put them out of business?
Well, they produce fossil fuels, and this president says he wants to end fossil fuel.
Chris?
I think this release of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is just another cheap trick. Just like a few weeks ago, they did the debt cancellation ploy. Americans know that this is not going to do anything good, not going to help. And as I said earlier, I think what Americans are concerned about are food, fuel, and funding the police. And I just don't think this is going to work.
Yeah, really good point. And no one talks about diesel. I wish people made more, more hay about diesel and the prices of diesel. So in California, diesel $6.60 a gallon. The national average is $5.76 for a gallon of diesel. So you're paying more for everything at the grocery store. You're paying more for gas. How do you think that gas and all that food gets to the grocery store? It goes by trucks that run on diesel, which drives the price way up. Diesel, $6 a gallon. That's the national average right now for diesel. That's Joe Biden's America. It is truly shocking. I want to talk about these debates. Debates are happening basically now until a couple days before November the 8th. Last night in Oregon, we had this gubernatorial debate between Democrat Tina Kotek and Republican Christine Drazan, who's actually leading in the polls out there. Take a look.
When people call 911, they need to feel safe and have the right response at the right time.
Tina Kotek is the original defund the police candidate. She did not support police even when rioters were attacking a police station. It's stunning to me that she would talk now like she supports law enforcement.
I will join Ms. Drazan in saying I'm surprised by Tina's answer, because we've got to start by respecting our police. That doesn't mean walking with the rioters or excoriating the police when the riots were happening.
Forgive me, I do not know the candidate's name in the middle, but I love everything she just said, because Tina Kotek did do that during the Summer of Love. And you remember Portland, Oregon, City of Roses, Seattle up to the north in Washington. That's where Chap and Chaz, Chop and Chaz, those autonomous
Chaz,
zones,
Right, yeah.
those autonomous zones in June 2020. Remember those?
Yeah.
So the chickens are coming home to roost now, Hogan, and it looks like we could have a Republican governor in Oregon.
Yep, first time in what, 40, 50 years, whatever it is. Look, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, the genie in the bottle, whatever.
Right.
Proverbial
Betsy Johnson, by the
euphemism
way,
you
that's her
wanna
name
use
in the
here.
middle. Sorry, Hogan. Betsy Johnson.
There you go. And
Love
Betsy
her.
Johnson's on the right side of this issue. The left has been on the wrong side of this issue for a couple of years. And again, this is just like Joe Biden trying to sell the gas issue as a Putin crisis when everyone knows it's not. The same thing applies here. The left has been pushing for defund the police. The left marched with the rioters. The left made excuses for rioters. The left tried to bail people out of prison, not those who had their businesses destroyed, but the ones who actually destroyed the businesses. And now, after just 2 short years of pounding the message of defund the police, they're throwing their hands up like, no, we've always supported cops. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
The American people aren't buying it because, again, you don't have to look back decades. This is just a few months ago. These folks were on that side of it. Only when polling came out, and surprise, surprise, the American people want safe communities. I can't believe it. I guess we need police officers, and these folks have to make an about face politically. It's not going to work. It's too little, too late.
Yeah, Chris, it looks like everything's coming back to bite them, right? What happened 2 years ago, even in Texas. So Greg Abbott is going against Beto O'Rourke, and Beto basically on a podcast said that he supports cashless bail. He also, co-sponsored a bill to give cashless bail to illegal immigrants. So these things that are caught on tape, caught on podcasts, put on Twitter, while they come out now and trying to deny it, they can't because the information is right there.
Yeah, and I think that race in Oregon and other races around the country show that crime is a top issue, and that's what Americans' main concern is. These debates, it really concerns me that these Democrats don't want to debate. It makes me think that when 2024 comes along and we have presidential debates, are they going to bow out of those debates as well? I think they're setting a dangerous precedent here in these midterm
Tina
elections.
Kotek, by the way, Chris, Tina Kotek, that blonde woman, she's the one that had ice cream with Joe Biden, over the weekend when he was having that $20 waffle cone.
With the $200 Ray-Ban glasses.
That's
on.
right. And
Don't
talking
forget
with
those.
his mouth full, by the way. Talking with his mouth full as you licked that cone. Okay, so, by the way, Beto O'Rourke, Hogan, you just brought Beto O'Rourke up. So when he loses in 19 days there, just about 10 seconds, he'll be a 3-time loser. Lost for the Senate, lost for the presidency, now might lose for governor. What happens to him?
Well, he's a lifetime loser. I wouldn't say he's just a 3-time loser politically, maybe, but he's been kind of worthless his entire life. So I don't know how he gets off the carpet here, but these folks who refuse to work, they find a way somehow to continue to try and live off the government dime. I imagine he'll do so as well.
Harry Styles
He gets an MSNBC show.
Yeah, he will.
Right.
Harry Styles is supporting him, so maybe he'll get some votes there. I don't know if Texans care about that. But
I feel like they really do. Kidding. Okay.
There's one thing Texans love. It's Harry Styles.
The Texas
Everyone
way.
knows.
That's right.
Dallas Cowboys and Harry Styles.
There you go.
Chris Hogan,
Dallas
good
Cowboys.
stuff. We got to leave it there. Thank you, guys. Good to see you. Thank you. We'll do it again.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up this morning.